You know, one of the most freeing things that I have ever learned is that we can act our way into a new way of thinking. We can literally act our way into a new way of thinking. Do you realize how freeing that is? To finally realize that I don't have to, between my ears, correct my thinking so that my actions will change. No. All I have to do is take the action and my thinking will follow. Wow, that is amazing. That that principle is not only applied to my personal life, but it can be applied to our children as well. Let's start with this. We're all selfish and self-centered. That is a given. If I want to go from selfish and self-centered to God-centered, and I want my children to do the same thing, guess what? There are steps I have to take. There are steps they have to take to get from self-centered to God-centered. One of those steps is act our way into a new way of thinking. If I don't want to be self-centered, I need to act unselfish. If I don't want to act on my fear, I have to act on faith. If I don't want to act on feelings of bitterness and resentment, I have to take actions of love. If I take the actions long enough, my thinking will change. So if we want to go from selfish and self-centered to God-centered, we have to start with one of the most freeing principles I know, and that is to act our way into a new way of thinking. Thank God I do not have to be condemned and imprisoned by my emotions. My emotions do not have to decide my life for me. Some emotions support what we already know that we need to do, but for the most part, mine don't. I'm sorry. Many times I'm consumed with fear, and I want to act out of that. But guess what? I don't have to. I have a choice. God, I don't want to act out of my fear today. I am going to take the steps that say I trust you, even when I don't feel it. How do I do that? I spend time with them. I listen to speakers. I read. I influence my mind with other people's thinking about their spiritual life. And I really override my own feelings. And I take action towards the idea that I want God to be in the middle. We are always going to suffer from emotions that do not support our life and faith, do not support the things that we need to do. Do not, I don't want to exercise, but I do. I want to eat donuts. Sometimes I do. But I don't have to be condemned to allow my emotions, whether it's jealousy or envy or fear or resentment or lazy or whatever, it doesn't have to decide for me. God could and would if he were sought. The seeking is taking the actions. When we take the actions to seek him, he frees us from ourselves. Start with taking an action. Act your way into a new way of thinking. You want to feel more loving? Act it. Go bake a cake for somebody else who needs encouragement. Get out of yourself. Sometimes the hum of my self-awareness is so loud, I can't hear you or anyone else. Get up tomorrow morning. It's a new day. Start the day with God, free me from the bondage of self so that I can better do your will. And go bake a cake for someone. Go deliver flowers. Write an encouraging note. When you go to the grocery store, look at people in the eye and see who needs an encouraging smile from you. When you walk down the street, when you go about your everyday life, take actions opposite from the way you feel when your feelings are negative. And you too will act your way into a new way of thinking.